Night 3, Liberace. My candelabra was delayed because there's a blizzard and ice, just all kinds of shit. This is another time where I reflect upon my life and think, oh, is it a snow day for the kids? Oh, I forgot to have them. No, there's none here. My sister's about ready to kill people. If you hear of a mid-Missouri murdering spree, tweet me. Could be my sister. What are we drinking? In honor of Carrot Top, a little Crown Royal. He's the only person I know that loves Crown Royal more than anything. It's not really my thing, but trying to switch it up so boredom doesn't set in, and then, it could get very Grey Gardensy around here. If it's a slippery slope. Maybe I won't put on clothes today. Next thing you know, maybe I won't shower this 3-day chunk. Slippery slopes. You can see how it happens. Did you ever see that movie, Grey Gardens? Watch the one with Drew Barrymore and Jessica Lange. Holy shit show. It was so good. And they look exactly like the people by accident. Google the real Grey Gardens people. Spooky. Liberace, I have my paper doll collection. And this is the one we had. I didn't read you the quote with it, though. You should hear the quotes. He's just so fabulous. It's Punch Out and Play. And then I don't know who wrote it, but last week's was, hold on, Never Underestimate a Man in Hot Pants. This week, Bohemian Chic is always daytime appropriate. Where would you, all I can think of is thrift stores. I don't even know where you would buy this stuff. He's just Wisconsin fabulous. Here, we'll put him right here. We'll get a little stack going. Okay, I remember where we were. We're still in kind of sad times because his parents, the dad plays the French horn, and there's not a lot of French horn gigs running around. We're on page 9 for you nerds that like to know what page we're on. 9. The Depression brought hardship to the Liberace family, and not only because of the economic malaise that crippled the entire nation. By the end of 1929, the revolution of sound had swept the film industry, and talkies eliminated the need for symphony orchestras to accompany the action on the screen. Nor was there other work to be found for serious musicians. Salvatore, that's his dad, Liberace, was unemployable. He was bewildered and hurt to find himself divorced from the profession he loved. I know, but you got to get beyond the French horn. The French horn should be like something else you play, right? I mean, for work, not for fun, whatever, but kind of really limiting yourself, I don't know. Be like me saying I only have dog jokes. Well, it's going to limit your market. He was bewildered and hurt to find himself... Oh, I already did that one. He was bewildered and hurt to find himself divorced from the profession he loved. His Italian pride was damaged when he discovered he was no longer the provider for the family. That's sad. His wife and children were forced to find jobs that would help put food on the table. Uh-oh. And now there was another mouth to feed. What? Another baby? Another son was born in 1930 named Rudolph, after remembrance of France's favorite reindeer. I made that up. Her favorite star, Valentino, Rudolph Valentino. Mrs. Liberace worked at a cookie factory, bringing home each night an aura of chocolate and large bag of damaged cookies for the family. That's nice, right? George drove a grocery truck, and gave piano lessons. Angelina worked as a secretary and an assistant nurse. And even before he was a teenager, Walter, our Liberace, was bringing home money. He played piano for dance classes and washed dishes in restaurants. For 10 years, Salvatore Liberace, who Americanized his name to Sam, Salvatore's hard to keep saying over and over. Except for his time at the WPA Orchestra, part of the Roosevelt administration's attempt to provide work for unemployed artists. Well, at least they tried. I don't see anybody doing anything for comedy. Just saying. So far, not Trump. So far, not Joe Biden. We can wait. It's fine. Sometimes he would be absent during the day and return home with grease-stained hands. He made no explanation, unable to admit the shame of taking day work as a factory hand. As his bitterness grew, he became more abusive toward the children, more quarrelsome with his wife. His absences in the evening led to fierce arguments with Frances, who accused him of philandering, quite correctly, as it turned out. Young Walter was dismayed by his father's rebukes and repelled by the deprivation the family had been forced to live with. At one point, Frances Liberace was desperate enough to seek help from county welfare. Walter was faced with picking up groceries in his coaster wagon. The fuck's a coaster wagon? Like one of those red ones? From the country relief station. Oh, the county relief station. Except for the music, there wasn't much beauty in my childhood, he lamented in later years. We lived in one of those featureless bungalows in a featureless neighborhood. What a depressing description. Phew. Yeah, my only escape was when I visited my grandparents' farm in the summer. I hated shabbiness. I'd walk 27 blocks and pay 15 cents to sit in a new, clean movie house when I could have walked 5 blocks and paid 5 cents to sit in an old, dirty one. Well, good for him for upgrading himself. You don't want the old shit? Fine. Walk your ass off. Boom. New. I think I'd have probably gone to the old one. Although his schoolmates still ragged him about practicing so much, he learned to use his music to win them over. They invited him to birthday parties because he was certain to accept the invitation to sit down at the piano and play the latest tunes. He became a familiar figure at dance recitals and fashion shows. He was known at West Milwaukee High School even before he entered. He left grammar school in the afternoon and played ragtime piano for dancers in the high school gymnasium. Walter blossomed in high school. Well, that's good, too, because he's a little flamboyant, and back then that could have been a little bad news. If maybe he wasn't quite to that level yet, but maybe he wasn't wearing bohemian pirate outfits. I don't know how much the other boys are going to go along with all that, He found his fellow students accepted him for what he was, a talented piano player with a lively sense of fun. No matter that he didn't indulge in sports like the other boys. Gotta save these hands, he explained. Damn right. He used the piano to broaden his skills as an entertainer. Instead of accepting money for playing at dance studios, he took lessons. With his inborn rhythm, he quickly learned to tap dance. I did not know that. And gave a credible performance in a duet with one of his instructors at a recital. Oh, this is so fabulous. He loved to dress up. Even then, every semester, the students at West Milwaukee High School celebrated Character Day. Everyone was required to wear costumes of famous figures, and those who didn't were forced to swallow a spoonful of castor oil. What the fuck were people doing back then? What if you're poor and you don't have an outfit? Too bad for you. Your day just got worse because now you got to shoot castor oil. That never befell Walter Liberace. He almost always won first prize for the original costume. Once he dressed as Haile Selassie, who was in the news because of Mussolini's invasion of Ethiopia. What? On another Character Day, he came to school as Yankee Doodle Dandy. Then as Greta Garbo. Oh my God. Complete with silky gown, blonde wig, and heavy makeup. While the other boys customarily wore sweaters to school, Walter always came in a coat with a vest. Oh my God. Like he was not even trying to tame any of this down in the 1930s. Oh my Lord. Dressing up as Greta Garbo. I mean, you gotta say that took some balls. I'm surprised nothing bad happened. Maybe it does, but so far, so good. On cold days, he wore spats. Walter excelled in classes that interested him. With his swift fingers, he outperformed the girls in typing class. I was a great typer in typing class. I could type like a bazillion words a minute. Problem is, couldn't do math, so my sentences just ran off the page because I didn't, you got to do the thing, and you got it fractions, and how big are your margins? Nope, there's no margins if this lady's typing. It's just one giant run-on sentence, but boy, is it done quickly. I'd say more bang for your buck out of this lady. If you want it to look professional, you need to hire somebody else, because mine looks like a serial killer typed it, but I did it quickly, super fast. When the orchestra teacher offered a position in the orchestra if Walter would also take her German class, Walter enrolled in German and won straight A's for 4 years. He was a member of the German club and the Latin club. The Latin club! So is my youngest brother. He was Missouri's #1 Latin scholar. I don't know what years that would have been, but Patrick it's like he didn't, I don't know why he was so good at Latin. It was very strange. Wouldn't seem like he'd be that smart. I mean, not that he's dumb, but you know, Latin's fucking hard. And then I remember being, one of my cousins got married in the old cathedral in St. Louis, and it's super old, ergo the old cathedral, but on the ceiling, there's all these paintings of cherubs and all that shit, and then Latin's written all over the ceiling. My sister goes, so like Patrick can read all that? And I was like, I don't know if I trust it. But yeah, he's our Latin scholar. He took part in the annual Highlights talent show and any other theatrical activity he had time for. Walter helped organize cooking classes for boys. Good for him. How much, oh my God, that took such balls to do this shit. And his meatloaves and corn muffins were prized by his fellow students. He's just all around fabulous. He could play the piano and then make meatloaf? Yeah. So were the corsages fashioned from cloth that Walter made and sold to those with dates for the June prom and the silhouette dance. Walter generally didn't attend, except to play piano in the orchestra. His classmates recall he had little interest in dating, although he believed to have had a crush on a ballet dancer whose recital he played for. She later married and left Milwaukee. Well, too bad. She should have married him. I don't care if he's gay or not. Go. The corn muffins? Yes? The high point in Walter's week was his lesson with Florence Kelly. She often taught him between programs at radio station WTMJ, where she was staff pianist. Both teacher and students were strong-willed, and sometimes they clashed over selections she insisted he learn. One of the disputed pieces was Liszt's Forest Murmurs. Have you learned it? She demanded one day. I did 2 pages and I'm not going to do any more, Walter replied. It's a stupid piece and I hate it. All right, get out, she ordered. If you won't learn this piece, I'm through with you. I don't want to see you again. Do you understand? While the other radio musicians watched in amazement, she pushed him out of the side studio and threw the music sheets after him. Mrs. Kelly immediately telephoned Mr. Liberace and told him that Walter's scholarship was in jeopardy unless he followed her instructions. When Walter arrived home, his father was furious. No more practice on the piano for 1 week, Sam, Liberace decreed. When Walter returned to Miss Kelly, he knew Forest Murmurs perfectly. 20 years later, it amused her when he played it on television and announced, "This is my favorite piano number." Ha! An artist of great discipline, Florence Kelly was continually frustrated by the work habits of her star pupil. She couldn't understand his lackadaisical attitude before a concert or recital. You've got to prepare, she insisted. Yeah, later, he replied. This is a busy man. He's making corsages out of cloth. He has meatloaf in the oven. He's preparing corn muffins. I mean, he's playing for free in the gym for dances. He's got a lot going on. Like, maybe he's so good he doesn't need to practice that much. One night before a concert, he would stay up all night at the piano. His performance would be flawless, and he exulted to Mrs. Kelly, "I didn't let you down, did I?" "No, but what hell you put me through beforehand," she replied. Most of Mrs. Kelly's students were plagued by nervousness and self-doubt before a performance. Not Walter Liberace. When he was 12, she entered him against a dozen girls in a contest of the National Federation of Music Clubs at summer camp of Oconomowoc. Sorry, Wisconsin, I just butchered that. Oconomowoc. Walter was unquestionably the winner. That evening, he sat on the couch in his teacher's living room and commented, "Why, I wouldn't think of playing the way of some of those girls did, Florence. You wouldn't allow me to play that way. They were terrible, just terrible." A few years later, Mrs. Kelly decided Walter was overly confident and he needed to be taught a lesson. Oh, no, lady. She entered him in a contest at Athenaeum against some of the best young pianists in Wisconsin. At 11 o'clock that evening, she received a phone call from Walter. "Florence, I had to borrow a nickel so I could call and tell you I won." Later in life, he said his mom was a major influence in his life. Liberace sometimes was told the story of how she saved his musical career and perhaps his life. Oh my God, what is going on back then? During his mid-teens, Walter developed a hangnail which became infected and began to swell his arm. Okay, starts here, Starts in the finger. How does it make it to here without noticing here to here? Nothing? Nobody? My mother took the boy to the specialist who diagnosed the problem as blood poisoning. Amputation is the only answer, the doctor said. But my son is a pianist. Francis Liberace protested. Can't you save his hand? The doctor replied, we'll be lucky to save his arm. Francis wouldn't consider surgery. She led Walter home and told him she was going to try something her mother had brought from the old world. Uh-oh. She filled the closed boiler with water and placed it on the light burner. As the water was heating, she knelt down and prayed for God to save her son's arm. As soon as the water came to a boiling point, she plunged Walter's arm into it right up to the shoulder. Oh, my God. Antibiotics? Nobody? Maybe we didn't have them then? I don't know. The boy howled in pain as his mother plastered his arm with a poultice of milk and white laundry soap. She wrapped the arm in wax paper. Every half hour during the next 4 days and nights, she repeated the treatment. On the 5th day, pus began to discharge from the hand. The crisis was over, but it would be months before Walter could play the piano again. Oh, my God. This is crazy. So you shove it in boiling water, and then you make a mixture of milk and white laundry soap, and then you get wax paper. Wow. Well, it worked. I'm shocked my parents didn't try this on us at some point. While studying Liszt and Chopin with Florence Kelly, Walter Liberace was earning money by playing ragtime and popular melodies in honky-tonks and beer halls and at weddings and anniversary parties. Frances could hardly complain, since she played popular tunes at the radio station. Walter was 14. He's only 14 at this point, when he started appearing with 3 other musicians, Del Krause, Joe Zingheim, and Carl Lorenz. The boys were 3 years older, but Walter was musically their peer. Well, of course, because he's fabulous. Their first date in 1933 at Little Nick's on Muskegon and Mitchell Streets, an ice cream parlor that had been converted into a beer hall with the repeal of Prohibition. No matter that Walter was too young to be working at a place that served alcoholic beverages, he looked old for his age, and besides, nobody cared much about things during Milwaukee's euphoria over the return of legal beer. Milwaukee, having been many, many times and being like them, was probably drunk for years. It's like St. Louis. You can't take away the beer and then give it back. Oh, my God. It's like giving the rats their cocaine back. It's going to be so crazy. For the young crowd, the band offered popular tunes of the 30s, but for older audience, they played songs of the 20s and before, inviting a sing-along. The most surefire medley, here's your hack one, was the Darktown Strutters Ball. Nope. Won't You Come Home, Bill Bailey? Nope. Has anybody seen my gal? Nope. When the Saints Go Marching In? Yes, I know that one. Sweet Georgia Brown? No. Requests were invited. If Walter wasn't familiar with the song, he asked the guests to sing or hum it. He was able to play the tune immediately, and the others improvise an accompaniment. Where are you going, Walter? His mother would ask when she saw him dressed after dinner in his best suit, a hand-me-down from George. Oh, the boys and I are playing tonight, he replied. I think it's for a church social. Okay. That was a lot, right? This book's really gearing up, and he's only 14. Jesus Christ. Oh, is your hand infected? Whoops, that was my thumb. Is your hand infected? Let me shove it in a pot of boiling water. You got to give her credit, though. It worked. Saved his arm, saved his hand. What would he have been, the one-hand pianist? He probably could have done that, too. Still would have been fabulous. Okay, termites. Are you freezing? Texas, are you even alive out there? Hello? Hello? It's funny in the South. A lot of the cities, when ice and snow comes, they just lay down arms. And I kind of appreciate that take on it. It's coming, y'all! That's it. Saw some video of a salt truck in Nashville flipped over on its own self. I'd say the Midwest, we handle it a little better, but not great. We're not great. Better. We have more equipment because it happens more often. I get it. But boy, when it does happen, you're going to really wish you had bought those 2 extra snowplows with the money that none of the states have anyway. Okay, enough about that. Termites, are you cold? Are you freezing where you're at? It's freezing. It's 11 here. 11! It was actually warmer in Anchorage. It was 19 in Anchorage. Then I told my sister I'm going to go start my car. She goes, now you're doing what old people do. Like, we're just going to go start the car. I said, I want to see if I can get out. Where? Where are you going? You fall when there's no ice. Don't go out there. You sound like Mom. If anything, I sound like Dad. I'll go start the car just to make sure the vehicle runs, right? That's what my dad would say. All right. My mom would say, stay inside and smoke cigarettes and drink. That's what Vicky would say. Who's got a pack of Cools? Anybody? All right, termites. You're worthy. You're good. You're patient. You're nice to each other. It's a little community of termites we've built here. All bad termites immediately attacked by the others. Watch what you write. Just saying. All right, you got your sheet pulled up? Are your eyes closed?